So I'm assuming this is it, July? Told me to take a look at this. So apparently Brunson and Jalen Hart had something to say about Victor Wembanyama. And yeah, I'm interested in this. Yes? Okay, cool. All right, we'll take a look at this. All right, let's go and make this segment sponsored, man. Shout out to BetUS sponsoring this segment. We'll just do that. So we'll go over this. I'll talk about BetUS briefly. And then I'll look at the chat and see what you guys thought about what they had to say here. What is this? Apparently, they were on a podcast, Brunson and Hart, talking about Victor Wembanyama. Looking here, it looks like they're going to talk about Christmas Day game. So I guess that's where he gets a lot of the praise. Oh, wait. This is longer than I thought. All right, so they do this for like 7 minutes. Let's see. Let's put the caption up. All right, let's go through this. Let's see what they have to say.
Be 21 and over to enjoy. Please drink it.
Since that game. That was a fun game. Mikal and Wemby just going for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wemby took 16 threes that game, I think, or something like that, or maybe even
I think
more.
like 10 in the first half.
Yeah.
And it was like funny because the day before we did shoot around, and Tibbs is like, Wemby's out here shooting like, I don't know.
He's like 14 or 15 threes a game.
And we're sitting there like,
me and Josh and each other is like,
yeah. I'm like, bro, like, cause like Tibbs always has a thing with like, I don't.
They didn't agree? They didn't know? I guess you can't keep up with every single team that you play against, right? It's not the same amount of prep as you do in football where you have, like, they're prepping for months, it seems like.
I don't know. Maybe, like, if a team is struggling or something, and we're about to play them, I feel like he makes sure, like, he hypes up the other team, like, so we don't take them lightly. So we're sitting there, he's like, Wemby, and so he's trying to nail the, point through that he's shooting a lot.
He's trying to nail you, is what you were about to say.
I said nailed the point.
Okay, sorry.
Good Lord. So he's like, yeah, he's shooting 14 threes. We're like, no, the hell he ain't.
Literally, me and Josh looked at like, so during the game, me and Josh sitting on the bench, we were like, hey, you really shoot like 14 threes?
Yeah, he ain't lying.
You're like, he's on pace for 20 at the end of this half.
Do you guys think that the San Antonio Spurs right now are prepared for a lot of these games? Now, I think that they gotten much better going into the first quarter of these games, but it really seems like there was this huge issue where we were not coming into games ready or taking the opponent seriously. It seems like sometimes during games when we get a sizable lead that we just kind of take our foot off the gas pedal a little bit. Yeah, I really hope that stops. I'm not expecting, I know that the hope is that Pop will be back. I'm not expecting Pop to be back, right? Nor am I expecting Mitch Johnson to be like a phenomenal, Hall of Fame coach in his first year where he doesn't even have like full control. It seems like they're really trying to stick to the Popovich game plan to a T, and sometimes it's not working because we don't make enough adjustments, or I don't really see much of his flair on the team yet, right? Like it's I don't know. Teams too predictable. Feel like we need to change this to throw off our other teams, especially with Vic's threes. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
But the thing is, like, he's a little bit like Kristaps, even more than Kristaps, because like, a lot of guys, especially like a lot of bigs, like, stretch 4, stretch 5s, just like toes on the line. Mm-hmm. He was.
Did you see his from the logo yesterday?
Yes, dog. Bombs. Like Kristaps does the same thing. Like his range is further than the NBA line, line. So you gotta like know that and kind of it spaces the court even more. But some of the shots that he was shooting, bro, was just they were. What's the NBA line? 28 feet. Or something?
23 feet. 23 something.
23 feet. He was shooting like 30 footers.
Yeah.
Like.
I'll never get used to that. Like, I'll never get used to seeing someone like that size do that.
But like the thing is, and it's like,
it looks so natural. It looks like a guard.
Yeah,
there should be an incentive for players if they block a Wemby 3-pointer.
What's her name? Dunked on him.
Kobe
White dunked on him yesterday. It wasn't a crazy dunk on, but like
he's in the picture. He's in the picture.
It'll look good.
It's not a poster.
No.
In the picture.
Wemby got there late. And that was such a strange, it was like a blown, I don't know if you can say a blown play in basketball, but it was kind of a blown play, right? Like, it was just wacky. even how he got that opening to make that dunk, it was wacky. Because it should have been a turnover. Like the pass, it seemed like Lonzo and Kobe crossing each other at the same time. I don't know. It should have just been a turnover, but it was so weird till he was able to get the step on Sohan, and then obviously Victor got there a little late. That's tough.
But like the craziest thing about him is like every shot that he shoots is uncontested.
Yep.
Like you can't like. There's few people that's like that. Like I've always felt like KD's like that for the most part. Unless he's going against, like Rudy or somebody. But like him.
When Pop has bad rotations, it's the name development. When Mitch does it, Mitch is just bad. I don't think that's really the narrative. I think at least for me, when I see Pop in bad rotations, I just say that was a pretty bad rotation, right? Like sometimes I just don't really understand it, but then in other times it does make a little bit of sense, right? Like it might not be on paper the best possible team that you can have on the court, but I think that sometimes when the team isn't playing as strong as they should, or they're making mistakes where we told them, at the coaching staff, told them 50 million times that, you don't do this, you don't do that, and they keep making the same mistake 5 times, then you just take them out and you put in a rotation that might not look like it makes a lot of sense on paper, but it's more so sending a message. So but let's not get it fooled, okay? Pop is top tier, even today.
Him literally every like shot he shoots is an uncontested shot because his release point is so high. It's like like it's just absurd. Michael Porter's like that a little bit because he jumps like 3 feet in the air.
His release point's like at 9 feet.
He jumps so high.
And I'm saying,
Yeah, I think that they've shown that in order to block a Wemby's 3-pointer, you would have to be going at the same speed and exerting the same energy you would for trying to block a dunk attempt, which is kind of insane. Like you would need a lot of prep to even contest it, which at that point you're kind of screwed, right? Too much energy. Like you're kind of screwed because if you're exerting that much energy and you're a guard, he could just pump fake you. Like you're in the air trying to block this shot, but he could just punk fake you, especially if he didn't pick up his dribble. Obviously only if he didn't pick up his dribble. So yeah, I don't know. That's rough. Well, actually, no. He could pick up his dribble because he could just pump fake. Then by the time you're coming back down, he can just go back up and you didn't really contest it. So you probably even get fouled. He'll probably even get fouled. Yeah.
if I'm guarding, I'm sitting there like jumping at like 8 feet. Dude's a foot and a half. Like, it's just.
Speaking of Wemby shooting a lot of threes, I actually do want to get your guys' thoughts on this. I don't think we haven't potted in a while. There's been a lot of talk about the amount of threes that are being taken in the NBA, whether it's too much, too little.
I think Wemby's taking them because he doesn't have a reliable inside game yet.
That people are advocating to put in place to like curb that, and then obviously people are tying that into like the ratings discussion, and then they're posting clips of like all these consecutive missed threes. So like a narrative is forming. What are your guys' thoughts on 1, the ratings, and then 2, whether or not 3-pointer?
NBA fans love 3-point shots. Okay, they absolutely love it. All right, ratings they weren't hurt when Steph Curry was in his prime. Like they love threes.
Just have like any pull in that? And do you think about ratings during the season?
I don't even know what they're supposed to say to this. Can they even criticize the NBA? I think a big part, my opinion is, I think a big part of why the ratings are down is because of League Pass. Honestly, I think number 1, yes, or probably number 2, we don't have like a superstar right now carrying it, right? Like certain stars are on their way out the league, like LeBron and eventually Steph and guys like that. Even KD's a little bit older, so you don't really have that. But I think a big chunk of it is people just can't access the games, and when you do, it's like terrible. League Pass sucks. So like you can't just chill out and watch the game. It's like you got to go through all these, and then even if you get on League Pass and it's on television, then it's like, okay, I got to go to ESPN, and then it's like, what's the point? Some of the best games are on television, so what do I need League Pass for? Like I might as well just go to Stream East, just watch it on there and go about my day, right? And then I also think, you know, the star element as well, like players on the come up, you know. Wemby ain't there yet, so he draws in people, but not to that degree yet. So I think it's a transitional period while also people not having access. But I don't know if they can just say that.
You're just like, I'm trying to fucking win.
I don't think about ratings, but I don't think it has anything to do with like the players. I think it's more analytical than anything, because you have people coming in and saying like the 3-point shot is worth more than the 2-point shot. They're correct. It is. So it's like a math game. If we get up enough 3-point shots, right, versus 2-point shots, mathematically we should win the game. I mean, we're in the era now. We're in the era now. But also, we also encourage 3-point shooting. Like, obviously, Steph is the greatest shooter ever, right? And he kind of changed.
Fans like contact over threes. Yeah. I mean, we still get plenty of dunks a game, right? Like, we still get a lot of fun dunks a game. But, like, I don't know. I mean, we watch freaking... When Wemby hits a half-court shot, it's still exciting. Like, I don't know. I get the same amount of dopamine when we hit a 3 to win the game versus a layup or a contested dunk to win the game. I don't know.
The game when it comes to that aspect. So when people see a player like that transcending the game, they work on that aspect of their game. So that everyone's working on like threes, everyone's working on like movement threes, off the dribble threes, like pick and roll three, like.
And it almost takes a decade for that to really materialize, because when Steph's doing it, the kids are 8, 9, 10 years old, and now it's happening.
It's been a decade.
Yeah.
Like it's when he.
Thank you, Stephen Curry.
2009 he came in, right? Or no?
So yeah, it's been longer than that. So like you said, it takes a while for a game to kind of take the next step. So
dunks aren't contact. Dunks are players running out of the way to avoid being on a poster. That happens, but like, I don't know. I mean, Ja Morant put plenty of people on a poster. Anthony Edwards put plenty of people on a poster. People are still put on posters. Wemby just got put on a poster, kind of. You know, I don't know. I don't think it's that. I think it's more. I think if anything, it's the NBA's fault. I don't think it's the play style necessarily. I mean, the NBA has looked pretty similar for many years now. You know, and the ratings have been better before. I don't know.
But
I think the media hurts too, by the way. I think the media draws certain narratives that really hurt the NBA as well.
And it's like also like no matter what, like if you take several minutes, like a minute or two clips from games spread out across the league, like you can do that 20 years ago and see like 3 guys miss layups and like have a 2 turnovers, and you're like, oh, they were terrible back then. It's not what it actually is. Like the product is not that, but like
guys are more skilled now than ever before.
Everyone wants to highlight that, and then they go and search for bad possession like that, and then post it just for, engagement on social media. But I mean, we're just in, like he said, we're just in that era. Now it's like, what if you shoot like 36%, like numbers wise, I don't know what it is, but it's like you shoot 36%, on threes. That's the same as shooting like 50% from 2. It's like something like that. So it's like, it's what it is now.
Exactly. Rubber ducky. That's exactly what I'm saying. I think the media. So those are my 3 things. I think number 1, we're in transitional period as far as stars. I think number 2, the NBA does not allow games to be accessible to anybody. Anybody really. Nobody likes NBA League Pass. It's terrible. It sucks. It crashes all the time. You can't watch certain games if they're already on television. It's just like, what's the point, right? You can just find it on Stream East, get the same quality, and go about your day. And number 3, what you just said, and what I said as well, the media craps on the product. Like, if the media is constantly crapping on the product, like a casual, if just turns on, I don't watch ESPN or whatever, but you turn on ESPN or Fox Sports or whatever, and they're like, this is trash. The NBA is this today. Da, 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 da. And, you know, a lot of old heads jump on there and just say wild stuff. Yeah, people aren't going to tune in. They're like, what's the point? Yeah, you're right. It sucks. You know? I mean, it seems like all Charles Barkley does now is just like cry about how the NBA is played. Especially Shaq too. Just cries about it. I don't know.
Do you feel like it's going to take a Steph-like player to transcend the game in a different way to kind of shift the pendulum back?
I think people are getting more athletic and getting more versatile to where, like,
the competitiveness is there. That's all I'm trying to say. The competitiveness is still there. Guys that want to compete will compete. I don't think that the NBA is just soft nowadays or whatnot. It might be played slightly different, but the NBA isn't football, okay? It doesn't supposed to be football, right? Like, people will go back and talk about the Bad Boys Pistons as if that was the epitome of what basketball should be, and it wasn't. That's not bad. That's not skill. What the Bad Boy Pistons did was not skill. That was defensively. That was just. Yeah, no. You should be suspended how they played. That's not good basketball. You don't want to be injuring like star players just for the sake of just so we can say it's physical. Basketball wasn't created that way.
at some point we're not gonna have positions anymore. We're gonna have a bunch of 6-7 players in the starting lineup who all do the same thing. Yeah. AKA the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll tell you what. I don't think we all care about the ratings. I mean, we just got like new NBA, like new TV deals going, like NBC, Amazon, like.
Yeah, I think this Amazon stuff is probably gonna be better.
Like everyone wants to, like the NBA is like a global product. Everybody wants to watch the NBA, like especially now. Like we're in January, but like it's gonna start heating up.
Wasn't the Christmas Day? Christmas Day had a really good ratings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I saw that. I mean, people need something to talk about.
Exactly.
Yeah. Although Bron called the NFL out after that, so I feel like the NFL is going to come with something crazy next year for Christmas. Now Roger Goodell's going to.
You're going to see you're going to see crazy matchups, and you're going to see they're going to make sure those games are close. Like it's either going to be shootout where it's like, what was it, like the Rams and who was it, like Chiefs, like several years ago, it was like 56-54. It's like you're gonna have.
Okay, they're going into another topic now. All right, so I see a few in here, a few comments in here that I definitely want to respond to. So we'll get to that. Before we do, just really quick, okay, super brief. Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this segment as always. So if you guys are interested at all, BetUS now has a casino, so you can check that out if you are interested whatsoever. So that's live casino dealers, live slots, all that good stuff. So you can claim up to 200% sign up bonus if you just sign up, or you can get 250% sign up bonus with crypto sign up. So it's up to $5,000. So you guys interested in that, please head on over to betus.com/casino. All right, let me go ahead and take a look at some of these comments here, because that was. Hey, Clan, by the way. What's up, man? Clan, the advertising man. I know, right? Let's see. All right. So this is somebody from Taiwan. He says, I don't know about the U.S., but I'm in Taiwan right now. Actually, we'll just have this play just for a visual. Let's go back to... They talked about GTA 6. I kind of want to see that, but it's okay. I don't know about the U.S., but in Taiwan right now, or I'm in Taiwan right now, and the NBA League Pass is great. So, yeah. Look, I've used NBA League Pass. I've had it. I'll just be honest. I think it's too expensive for what you get, and it crashes way too often when I'm on it. So I don't think it's that great. And then I just don't really feel like what's the point of it if you jump on there in certain games you can't even see, and you have to have, I mean, the best of the games you have to have ESPN or some other, TNT or whatnot just to watch the good games. I don't know. Just doesn't really seem like it's that worth it for your buck. So I don't care for NBA League Pass. League Pass has blackouts too, by the way. Yeah, it sucks. Let's see. Of course, not football. I'm referring to how easy it is to draw a foul for the offense, resulting in lack of defense and contact. Yeah, that's true. My only thing about it is I feel like it's been this way for a while. Like most of the time in the NBA, like the whole discussion is why are the ratings down now? I don't think it has to do with that. That's been a thing for a very long time, right? I'm thinking all the way back to even 07 Spurs. Like as far as how often they call fouls, it's always near playoff time or playoff time actually, where fouls aren't called as often, right? But I wonder, foul calls, free throw attempts, I wonder if it's any different now than it was prior. Is there any way we can find that? Free throw attempts each year. I guess free throw attempts wouldn't help as much, but let's see. All right. Free throw attempts. Wait, that doesn't help. Hold on. We need to do it by year, don't we? All right, let's see here. So this year, free throw attempts. All right, that's what we're looking at. Free throw attempts about 22. Last year was 22. The year before that was 24. Year before that was 22. Year before that was 22. Year before that was 23, 23, 22, 23, 23, 22, 23, 22, 22. The last time it was, let's see, that's 24. That's still about the same. Yeah, I mean, free throw attempts are lower, but that could also be due to the sheer amount of threes that are taken nowadays. So there's that. But as far as the whistle being called, it's not called as often, but yeah. Guess this isn't a great metric because there's other things you got to keep in mind. But as far as free throw attempts in general, how often they're blowing that whistle on a foul to get you to the line, it's been about the same for the past 15 years. Yeah, for past like 15 years. So I don't know. Let's look at 3-point attempts. Yeah, and you can see 3-point attempts have just gone up over the years. So 18 in 2010, 2020, or 20 in 2012, 21, 22, 24, 27, 29, 32, 34, 34, 35, 34, 35, 38. Yeah, they take a lot of 3-point attempts. So that's probably a big part of it as well. I don't know. I feel, me personally, guys, I think the product is still good. Like, I've come across some really good NBA games. It's just not as fun right now because we don't have any crazy rivalries. We don't have, we got some star players, but they're more so on the come up, right? SGA isn't like a household name yet. Wemby, all NBA player or people know about Wemby, but he's not a household name yet. It's a transitional period. It's a transitional period, Let's see. It was something else that I saw that I wanted to respond to. I'd watch more games if it was easier to watch. Exactly. That's my whole thing. I think that's a big part of it. You got to blame the NBA here. We can't start saying, like, I think you're just jumping to conclusions when you start just saying, well, the league is too soft nowadays. That's why. It's like, no, you might feel that way, but I don't think that there's enough evidence on why people aren't watching basketball. Young people love basketball. They love the NBA. You look at the amount of sales from 2K, even though that game will just strip the life out of you, the amount of microtransactions. But 2K, like, people want to play NBA games. They want to play like Steph. They want to play like Wemby. And, you know, the play style in of itself, a lot of young coaches, young players, you know, they're starting to implement that into their game because that's what's viable right now. So, I mean, people love basketball. And I think that when you start asking the question, what's wrong? I think just saying it's too soft nowadays. The same narrative that every single era has probably said. People that watched the NBA in the 60s probably said that in the 70s. And then people watching the 70s probably said that in the 80s, right? And the 80s said that in the 90s with the Bulls. They probably said it was too soft. You know, you can't just keep doing that. Yes, the game is going to change. Yeah, it's going to be different. It's going to look different. Do I like, you know, some of the games that we come across where it's like, oh my God, these refs suck, like all these whistles? No, but I do recognize that once we're in the playoffs and when it's playoff time, it's always changes. It's always different. Playoff time, they don't call the whistle as much. They let you play a little bit more, you know? You can be a little bit more physical. But the NBA and the basketball in general was never really made to be a pure contact heavy sport. And I think that guys are more skilled now than they ever been, you know? I feel like we need to look into other things on why the ratings might be down. More than likely, it's League Pass. It's League Pass, the transition, you know, yada, yada. Let's see. When Wemby gets stronger in the near future, he will average at least 10 free throws per game. Sohan is skilled Dennis Rodman 2.0. For sure. Why do ratings, Rubber Ducky says, why do ratings being down even matter, at least for the media? If Adam Silver or the NBA needs to address it, sure, but Shaq and Barkley and other media groups don't need to give their thoughts. I don't understand that either. And it always comes down to, you know, how you feel about it, right? If you already don't like something and there's negative news about it, obviously you're gonna, like, if there's a freaking, I don't know, a YouTuber, right, like PewDiePie, like me for instance, I'm not the biggest fan of PewDiePie, right? I mean, I don't hate him or anything, but like I don't really like him that much. And if I heard that, oh my God, PewDiePie's YouTube channel is struggling or whatnot, then I would jump to the conclusion that, oh yeah, see, other people see what I see, they don't like the you know, I don't know. And there's a lot of channels or YouTube channels out there that does like the downfall of this person, the downfall of this. And it's really just, you already felt that way. And the evidence that they give isn't really great evidence. It's just, you didn't really like them to begin with, right? So I feel the same thing with something like this, where you jump to conclusions. You say, oh my God, the ratings are lower. Why are the ratings lower? And you jump to, well, they're soft. I don't know about that. I mean, and I'll say this. I did watch the finals and I didn't really like it. I was kind of bored because the Boston Celtics aren't just really that fun to watch, but I wasn't watching it like thinking, oh, there should be more contact. Like it was just boring to me, you know, just wasn't that fun to me. It just felt, it was a lot of ISO ball. They were obviously more talented. But yeah, you just kind of already knew who was going to win the finals. Why do people act like fouls are being called way more often than before when this year has the least free throw attempts per game in history? Oh wait, is it the least in history? Hold on. It is the least in history. I don't know, man. That's why I brought this up, you know? That's why I brought this up. Like the whole, you got to look at evidence. And no offense to the person in the chat that I don't even know your name. You just put a bunch of stars for your name. No offense to you. Like I don't think that you mean any harm or anything by this, but you definitely came into it with a little bit of a bias where you're just like the NBA, it needs more contact. All these fouls called, but when you look at the evidence here, that's not necessarily the case. You know, they aren't calling as often, so. It's good to look into things a little bit more, you know, to either affirm or disprove what you think, you know. That's conflating. I didn't say more are called. I said easier to draw. Okay, maybe that's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm having a brain fog. That seems like the same thing. But I got you. I mean, if they're easier to draw, wouldn't it just be more called? I mean, wouldn't NBA players just take advantage of the fact that it's easier to draw? Because free throws are the easiest way of, I don't know, the easy way to get points on the board. And easier to draw in the past, in my opinion. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they got much better at that. I thought the NBA addressed that pretty well, too. Everyone made fun of. Remember when everyone was making fun of the fact that the NBA were changing the rules because they were like, "Oh, it's over for James Harden." But they're even addressing things like flopping now. You know, you get in genuine trouble for flopping nowadays. I just don't. I don't know. I just don't agree, and that's okay. I just feel like the NBA should allow authenticity. Obviously, kids matter, but dropping media training and being allowed to throw shots and be allowed to speak your mind. Yeah. I don't I feel like they do, though. The NBA kind of... I'll say this, bro. The NBA has been much better over the years about allowing players to be themselves than before. I mean, think back. The crazy thing about it is you go back to interviews with Allen Iverson, and nowadays, if you didn't watch Allen Iverson or you don't remember that time, I mean, I was like a kid, but like you don't really remember that time, you would have thought like, what? This was controversial? like go back and watch some of the things he got in trouble for, and you'd be like, really? Why did he get in trouble for that? You know? So things have changed, you know? You say you don't gotta agree. Thanks for entertaining the discussion. Yeah, man. You're cool. The outcome is less defense, so fouls aren't drawn. I got you. But that's something I could you could think of too. Like if you go back and you watch, like I said, Allen Iverson, he got in trouble for so many of his press conferences. You go see those, they're tame compared to some of the stuff we get now. So the authenticity has definitely gotten better. Tim Duncan was laughing and got ejected. That's still crazy. I'm not even an SGA fan, but Michael Jordan averaged more free throws per game than SGA, and he's called a free throw merchant. Yeah. What did July say? July. David Stern and Adam Silver have their pros and cons about running the league, but aren't perfect. Yeah. Definitely a player league. Sad that fans get booted for wearing political shirts. Definitely a players league. Sad that I would really be interested in knowing what fan wore what that got booted. Because, yeah, some stuff you shouldn't be able to wear. Clan, did you see Wemby dunking from the free throw line? That was last year, wasn't it? The guys who are hating on NBA now loves to watch Kobe Jordan bait fouls and shoot free throws. I remember 2000s NBA people were always complaining about the best team, Spurs, being boring. That's true. Everyone hated the Spurs around that time. Everyone thought we were boring. The Spurs are the third greatest NBA franchise of all time. Duncan won 5 chips in 3 different decades. For sure. I agree. All right. I'm in the segment. That was good. Thanks for showing me that. That was definitely interesting. Josh and Jalen talking it up. That was definitely interesting. Anyways, big shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this segment.